Alright, take two.
Yeah.
Now that our audio works. Alright. Alright, so we're going to do a simple output video. We're just going to do straight output. It's going to be similar to our Hello World program that we did for the Lab 2 for 150. So we're going to do something similar to that. So we need a creator file, so we'll just do simple output.cpp. Okay, so we're inside of VI. We need to include a library for our output. So we're going to do the include IO stream, which brings in our stuff that we need for cout and cin and probably some other things.
That's input and output?
Yes. So we also need to be using the standard namespace, and that's done by this.
And our standard namespace actually allows us to not have to write a whole bunch of extra stuff to be able to call input and output commands.
Alright, so the first step that we need to do is make our int main, and so I'll have int and main, and we don't have any arguments passing to it, so we'll just open and close. It's usually just going to be the open and close parentheses after main, and then start our open curly brace. So
and we're always going to have an int main in any program that we write.
yes, you'll always have an int main. So so for our first line, I'll just do a regular output like how we did in Hello World. So we're going to start off with the cout. That's the output command, and then this is the operator for the output. It's the two less than arrows or chevrons or carets or whatever you want to call them, as long as you know that there are two arrows that point left. And then we're going to open up our quotation marks, and we're going to write in our statement or sentence that we want to appear on the screen. So I'll just type in this is the first output line, and then I will end the line by using an end-l, so that brings us down a line.
Don't forget about the second output carets at the once you're done with the actual string, which is the words that you're trying to put on the screen.
Yeah, so we can do like a quick example of that, because you need these to, these are kind of like pluses, sort of. You can use them, you can think of them as like concatenating things. So we can yes,
Concatenating means putting sentences together, right?
yes.
Correct. Okay, cool.
So I'm just going to split up a sentence into a few things. So we can do first, and then I'll do that, and then I'll open up another set, and you'll see that this will eventually type out the way that we want it. And then, yeah. Oops. And there's a few different ways you can end the line on for couts. I mean, you have the end-l, and then you also have the /n. So we could do a double end line. So in this case, we do just a /n there.
Why don't you show them actually on a separate string so we have like all the different examples put together?
All right. So let's type in new output. Line 3, and then I'll do the /n, and then close it. So the /n here means almost the exact same thing as the end-l here, and then we don't forget our semicolons. So I guess do I want to include the tab to show just like different,
just show them what a tab is, because we don't know.
There's a lot of special characters that you can use in Unix. Like the /n means the new line, and you can also have a tab, which is a /t for tabbed thing. So it's characters that the Unix system uses to know like where it needs to move the cursor, and the cursor's pretty much this thing when it's typing on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So as you'll see up here, this will eventually be on one line, and you'll notice that when I have the space here on purpose so that these words don't come out together. So like if I was to get rid of this space, oops, then the cursor, when it prints out second, it's going to stop here, and then it's going to continue where it left off and print third.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you print stuff out, it's not going to print the quotes. So let's go and finish this program. So we have to put in our return, spelled right, and return 0 because int is expecting int main is expecting an integer. And then we always want to close our curly braces.
1 second, Kevin.
Yes, Booga?
You forgot something.
Uh-oh.
All the cout statements need to have a semicolon at the very end. And
yes.
Almost every single statement in C and C++ needs to have a semicolon at the end.
Yes, every time you're done doing a statement, you will need a semicolon. So yeah, good catch, Booga.
Don't worry, I'm staring.
So I'm going to save and quit, and then I'm going to the G++ to compile. So we call this simple output. Then I'll just hit enter, and then I will run the a.out. I guess I'll do the /, and then there we go.
So we can scroll back and forth so we can see.
Yeah, so on our first, very first cout that we did, it's printing out, this is the first output line. So if we go back up real quick, you'll see this cout is for the output, and here's our sentence that was printed. As you can tell, there's no quotation marks around it, and you can't see this end L at the end because it moved down to a line. So it finished this line, we hit end L, and we moved down. So in the second line that we have our breaks where we kind of concatenated different strings together with these arrows. And on the word second, we didn't put a space to show that the cursor leaves off wherever you end the quotes, and it's going to pick up wherever you start the quotes again. So if we go back down, we see that second and third are right next to each other, where in the first case we have a space, and that makes our space in between these. So we have our third line here with our /n, which acts the same way as the first line, makes a new line. And then on our final line we have a tab, so we have that number of spaces before we actually print out our word like we had up here. So
actually, I want to add something to that. Could you please go ahead and open up the file one more time? Okay. I think we should probably say this. The compiler reads each one of the lines separately, and it doesn't take into account spaces. The compiler actually removes any white space that you have in your program, and it reads it differently. Like if you were to take out all the white spaces from that first sentence that don't have anything to do with anything, like so, it's more difficult to read, but it doesn't really affect the program whatsoever. So it still works exactly the same way, but it's just more difficult to read. The same thing with tabbing. That's the reason why we tab, is to make it look prettier, look nicer. Your professor will like you more for it. He'll take less time, or she'll take less time having to grade your stuff. You'll put them on a good mood, and then they'll be like, "Oh, good grade."
Yep. So that's that. So let's just I'll show you. I'll run it there, recompile it to show you that it doesn't make a difference if you have spaces in your code or not. So we'll just run it again, and the output's the same.
Yep. So
that's the end of the first one. This is just simple output. If you want to learn more about cout, you can go on Google and just type in cout C++, and
go to the reference page.
Yeah, you can go reference or look up examples. All right, that's it.